guys, the Blue Life here, and today I'm reviewing Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Now, before I get into the story in this, I think it's a good idea to take a look back at the mindset of the production team during Wrath of Khan. You know, when they started the Wrath of Khan, they weren't thinking of that the Star Trek franchise was going to, be multiple films. I mean, they thought Wrath of Khan was most likely going to be it. But, and spoiler warning, I mean, if you haven't seen Wrath of Khan, and if you haven't, what's wrong with you? Go out and watch it now. But Spock dies in the Wrath of Khan. So, towards the end of the film, the executive producer, Harve Bennett, he thought that, there might be life in the franchise. There could be more films in this. But he was thinking, without Spock, it's going to be hard to sell that. So he discussed this with Leonard Nimoy and said, what do you think you could, put in that would kind of leave something open for the future? And Nimoy came up with the little mind meld on McCoy to remember. And with that, and they also showed Spock's coffin, the photon torpedo, to land on the Genesis planet. So it gave that sense of hope at the end. And the director and co-writer of this, Nicholas Meyer, really fought against that because he, in his mind, he was making just a singular picture. There wasn't going to be any sequels, and Spock was dead. But they actually did a test screening with the original ending, and people were so depressed at the end. People were crying. It just really left it on just kind of a sour note. So that they went ahead and did the scene with the coffin at the end. And it definitely got better test screenings. And I think that was a really good idea on Harve Bennett's part. And if he hadn't done that, who knows if any sequels would have come about after that. So yeah, I mean, going into Search for Spock. Now, the story in this is fairly simple. Spock's body is on the planet Genesis that was created at the end of Wrath of Khan by Khan. But his essence, I think it's referred to as Katra, is in McCoy's head because of that little mind meld Spock did. So, Sarek, Spock's father, visits Kirk when they get back to Earth and tells, and he originally thinks that Spock would have put his Katra in Kirk because they were closer friends, and because his Katra needs to be brought back to Vulcan, and they have to go to Mount Selena, I think, to, I guess, just to free his Katra. But then they realize that his Katra is in McCoy's head, and what they have to do is they actually have to find Spock's body, return the Katra and his body to Vulcan on Mount Selena for their ritual. And the big theme of this movie is friendship. How far will you go for a friend? And of course, they disobey Starfleet orders, kidnap the Enterprise, and go to the Genesis planet to get Spock's body, and run into some Klingons who want the Genesis device. And meanwhile, Saavik and Kirk's son David are on the Genesis planet, and they find Spock's body that's actually been rejuvenated and is now it's actually aging from a small boy to a man in a matter of hours. So the Genesis planet is screwed up. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much the story, and won't spoil everything for you. But you know, as I said, it's themes of friendship, and I think while the movie isn't as good as Wrath of Khan, it's still, I think, a worthy successor to it. It's fun. There are good character moments. I think one of the best things about the story is that it takes its time to give each of the characters, you know, a moment. Like Sulu's got a moment, or is "Don't call me Tiny," and you know, Uhura's got a moment, and you know, all the characters do. And I got to talk about the direction in this. This was actually the first Star Trek film that Leonard Nimoy directed, and I think that was probably part of the deal for him to actually come back, because he wanted to direct. And of course, he directed in The Voyage Home as well, the next one, which I'll talk about next week. But I think he did a pretty good job. And of course, Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon. Well, I don't think his performance is perfect, but you know, he certainly does an admirable job. And it's just interesting seeing him as a Klingon, because you recognize the voice and you're like, Doc? But you know, it works pretty well. Of course, Saavik has been replaced. She's no longer played by Kirstie Alley. I think Kirstie Alley wanted more money, because Cheers was getting more popular, and she felt like she deserved more money, and you know, that's her business. So she was replaced with Robin Curtis, who honestly I kind of prefer Kirstie Alley, but you know, she does a decent job. But you know, I think really the weakest parts of this film are on the Genesis planet. And the strongest parts are with Kirk and all of his crew, you know, stealing the Enterprise and going to Genesis. And it gets a little bit better towards the end when you have the big climactic fight scene. But yeah, I mean, definitely the weakest parts of the story are on Genesis with Saavik and David. There's just not much to do there. Of course, with the Genesis planet falling apart, you find out that it's actually David's fault, and it's kind of got the theme where, you know, you can't play God, otherwise it'll blow up into your face. You know, as the theme with Wrath of Khan was life, you know, feeling, you know, getting older but feeling young, all that. It certainly was kind of an opposite, side of the coin with Search for Spock. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this a B-. As for the picture quality on the Search for Spock, I'm going to pretty much say the same thing I said on the first two reviews. You do have a decent amount of detail. Also, the colors are bright and vibrant. None of them seem to really be off. But you know, you still got softness creeping into there. I mean, certainly this is a better transfer than anything we've gotten on DVD so far in the past. But I'm going to have to give it the same grade I gave the other two, a C+. Now, as far as the special features you get on the Search for Spock, there are some special features that were from the original DVD release, such as an audio commentary by Leonard Nimoy, Harve Bennett, Robin Curtis, and cinematographer Charles Quarrel. You also get a making-of featurette for the Captain's Log, Terraforming and the Prime Directive. This talks about whether it's scientifically possible to terraform a planet. You get Space Docks and Birds of Prey. This is kind of a special effects, dealing with models and special effects. You also get a Speaking Klingon featurette, Klingon and Vulcan costumes. Look at the wardrobe. Photo gallery, storyboards, and as for the Blu-ray exclusive, you do get a theatrical trailer that is in HD. Let's see, you also get an audio commentary by Ronald D. Moore and Michael Taylor. And as you know, they are, Ronald D. Moore is a writer that wrote for Next Generation and beyond. Of course, he also went on to do Battlestar Galactica remake. And Michael Taylor is also a writer on I think he might have done for Next Generation, but he did a lot of for Deep Space Nine. Of course, you get the library computer interactive thing where it actually pops up on the top right corner. Say if they mention like warp drive or wormhole or something like that, it'll pop up on there and give you a definition of what it is. Then you also get Industrial Light and Magic, the visual effects of Star Trek 4, which is interesting. But this is a special effects overview of the first of actually Star Trek 2, 3, and 4, and also 6, I believe. Let's see, you get Spock the early years. There's an interview with the actor who played the young Spock in this. You also get Star Trek in the Science Fiction Museum and Hall of Fame. This is an interview with the producer Harv Bennett, and they tour a Star Trek Museum exhibit. It's pretty cool featurette. Then you of course have the Starfleet Academy SciSec brief, mystery behind the Vulcan Contra transfer. And as I said before, these are pieces of fluff, but they're kind of neat. And then of course you get the BD Live Star Trek IQ, where you can make your own Star Trek quizzes and take other people's Star Trek quizzes that they've made. So a nice set of supplement features on this. So I'm going to go ahead and give special features on this a B+. So this brings the overall score for Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, to a B-. Till next time, guys.